I recently visited Jeannie Miller and her 2 dogs at her home in Carlsbad.
This is Buttercup. She is pure Great Dane. She weighs about 152 pounds, and she's about 5.5 years old. Wesley is a mix of a terrier of some sort, and he is about 10 years old.
Miller prefers to get her pets from shelters.
I like it because they seem to know that you're rescuing them, it's their second chance.
Miller, for years, has wanted a Great Pyrenees. They're these big, fluffy dogs that are bred to guard livestock. Miller has a chicken coop.
We have had coyotes come into the yard, and I've lost chickens to the coyotes, and so I just wanted something or a dog to scare them off.
Late last year, Miller dropped by the animal shelter in Carlsbad, which is run by the San Diego County Department of Animal Services. And that's when she found 4-year-old Franklin sitting quietly in a kennel.
There he was, a Pyrenees, and I'm going, what are you doing here? Not barking, just kind of very calm. He took a treat from us. You could tell he had a good disposition.
The shelter told Miller that Franklin had been adopted and returned before. The Great Pyrenees had growled at one of the family members and was territorial around food. He also, on a couple occasions, tried to nip, a less serious kind of bite that's typically playful or attention-seeking. But Miller wasn't worried. She took Franklin home that day, and he did what Great Pyrenees are bred to do.
Just would walk around the yard and just kind of patrol the backyard and then come back and go inside.
However, Buttercup wasn't so keen on Franklin. The Great Dane kept barking and growling at the new dog. Franklin ignored Buttercup. Yet Miller sensed an untenable situation. She felt she had no choice but to take Franklin back.
It was pulling at at me like, don't take him. No, you gotta take him back so he has a chance to get a home where he's going to fit in.
The next day, Miller made a pit stop on her way to the shelter.
I went through the drive-in at Jack in the Box and I got 2 hamburgers, just the bun and the burger. And I got those for him. And then I took him to the beach, down to the beach, and we just walked for a little bit so he could have some free time.
Miller arrived at the shelter and an employee led Franklin into the back. She tearfully filled out the return paperwork. Quote, "Good boy. Very nice," she wrote. Miller explained to the front desk employee that she only brought Franklin back because her Great Dane reacted negatively.
The lady assured me that, with the review, he was going to be adoptable, and, people will probably adopt him sooner, quicker, because there's a good review.
But this was an empty reassurance. Franklin was euthanized that afternoon, likely while Miller was still standing at the front desk, and possibly before her feedback was even entered into the shelter's computer system, our reporting found. Miller only heard about the shelter euthanizing Franklin when KPBS contacted her.
He was a great dog.
Yeah.
So I don't see why, what happened had to happen. And who made that decision. That wasn't fair to him at all.
An employee decided Franklin had an untreatable behavioral issue. His euthanasia fits a troubling pattern. A recent KPBS investigation found the dog euthanasia rate at San Diego County-run animal shelters has more than doubled in recent years. KPBS spoke to nearly a dozen former employees and volunteers who claim the county routinely puts down dogs with mild behavioral issues, dogs that could have been rehabilitated with reasonable training. KPBS confirmed Franklin's euthanasia upset a number of employees, in part because the shelter broke its own rules. Franklin's paperwork shows he should have been held for several days after his return. If the shelter followed this rule, Franklin would almost certainly still be alive.
I felt really guilty, and that's why we went back. I think it was 2 days later. Yeah, we went back and we go, that's it, let's make it work, and he was gone.
The County Department of Animal Services declined our interview request. County spokesperson Chuck Westerhide said in a statement, quote, "The dog was not eligible to go back into the shelter population because he could not be safely adopted." Miller doesn't buy the county's explanation. She believes the shelter made a terrible mistake putting Franklin down. But she has her own regrets, too. On the day Miller returned Franklin, a shelter employee was about to throw away a photo from the dog's file. Miller wanted to keep it. I asked her why.
To remind me that not to, if I'm going to save a life again, to make sure that I save it fully and not jeopardize them, going back. He shouldn't have been put down.
Scott Rodd, KPBS News.